taking on the opposition India alliance in a marathon 2-hour plus long speech as the reply to the no confidence motion. He basically set the tone for 2024, painting a contrast between his government, the work that his government has done over the last 9 years, whether it is a Mazboot Sarkar, whether it is delivering welfare schemes for the poor, and a contrast with the India alliance, which he called Ghamandiya Gathbandhan, coming together, at best being able to give a Khichdi Sarkar of sorts. That contrast was what the Prime Minister sought to paint as the choice before the people of India for 2024. But here's the other interesting thing. Through the course of his 2-hour and 10-minute long speech, the Prime Minister also tried to demolish a lot of myths. He also spoke quite extensively about the situation in Manipur and what happened, which led to the violence that we saw in early May in Manipur. Now, the question that's being asked is, the no confidence has been roundly defeated, but does this set the stage for 2024? And has Mr. Modi blunted the opposition India alliance, which seemed to have the numbers or the arithmetic on its side, but not so much the chemistry?
It was the D-Day in Parliament. All eyes on the Prime Minister's speech. Closing off the NDA's counter-offensive to the no-trust motion of the INDIA alliance. The heavy hitters of the NDA government rained fire on the opposition, highlighting the list of scams under the UPA, calling the alliance the union of the corrupt, which will be rejected yet again in 2024.
वो INDIA सिर्फ उनका नाम का सैंक्टिटी के लिए ढूंढ रहे हैं, क्योंकि यूपीए मतलब जनता को याद आ रहा, वो करप्शन, वो भतीजावाद, बाय क्रोनिज्म, डायनास्टी, फैमिली। ये जो समूह है I.N.D.I.A. इस समूह में एक प्रोफेसर हैं जो मोरालिटी की बात करते हैं, सिद्धांतों की बात करते हैं, मूल्यों की बात करते हैं, लेकिन प्रतिनिधित्व वो एक ऐसे दल के करते हैं जिन्होंने भ्रष्टाचार की नई कीर्तिमान स्थापित की।
As the Prime Minister entered the Lok Sabha, Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary took a direct shot, angering the NDA camp. His remarks were later expunged, but the BJP demanded an apology.
सदन की एक गरिमा है, देश के प्रधानमंत्री जी के बारे में जिस प्रकार का ये उल्लेख कर रहे हैं, मुझे लगता है ये विपक्ष के नेता के लिए शोभा नहीं देता।
The Congress party has stuck to its guns, claiming that Modi government had failed the people of Manipur and the nation.
जहां राजा अंधा बैठे रहते, वहां द्रौपदी की बस्ताहरण, चाहे वो हस्तिनापुर में हो, चाहे वो मणिपुर में हो, होते ही रहते। मणिपुर और हस्तिनापुर में कोई फर्क नहीं रहता।
माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी।
As the Prime Minister took the stage, he unleashed a barrage of attacks, countering every charge the opposition threw at him.
विपक्ष का अविश्वास प्रस्ताव हमारे लिए शुभ होता है। आपको गरीब के भूख की चिंता नहीं है, सत्ता की भूख, यही आपके दिमाग पे सवार है। मेरे लिए इनकी ये गालियां, ये अपशब्द, ये अलोकतांत्रिक भाषा, मैं उसका भी टॉनिक बना देता हूं। हमने दुनिया में भारत की बिगड़ी हुई साख, उसको भी संभाला है और उसे फिर एक बार नई ऊंचाइयों पर ले गए। कुछ ही दिन पहले बेंगलुरु में आपने मिलजुल कर करीब 1.5-2 दशक पुराने यूपीए का क्रियाकर्म किया है। हर व्यवस्था उग्रवादी संगठनों की मर्जी से चलती थी, वो कहे वो होता था। और उस समय सरकार किसकी थी मणिपुर में? किसकी सरकार थी?
The Prime Minister's fiery counter has set the narrative for 2024 elections. The big question remains, what has the INDIA alliance achieved by this battle of optics against the numerical might of the NDA? Moreover, has Prime Minister Modi blunted the united opposition's campaign to corner his government?
All right, so let's get you some highlights of what the Prime Minister said in his sharp counter in a 2-hour plus long speech to the opposition India alliance. Make no mistake, this was more about setting the tone for 2024 and perhaps less as a reply to a no-confidence motion. The nation will reject Ghamandiya and Darbari alliance. He coined this phrase of the Ghamandiya alliance, Ghamandiya Gathbandhan, to describe the India alliance. The opposition is running a loot or jhoot ki dukaan. This is in response to Rahul Gandhi's Mohabbat ki dukaan. Common man's rise to the Prime Minister's post in a reference to himself is still something that irks the opposition and irks the first family of the Congress party. The Congress is forced to launch and relaunch a failed product, again in an apparent reference to Rahul Gandhi and his speech yesterday. Also, the Prime Minister went on to take apart the opposition on the issue of Manipur. Remember, this no confidence was brought to Parliament on the issue of no confidence, where he said peace will be restored. It was a reaching out signal to the people of Manipur. And he also said that the guilty will not be spared. This is with reference to the case of the two women being paraded naked. Opposition is politicizing Manipur and they have insulted Ma Bharati or Bharat Mata. This again in reference to Rahul Gandhi's speech yesterday in Parliament, where he said Bharat Mata was murdered in Manipur. This, the Prime Minister said, coming from people who never used to take the name of Ma Bharati. The Congress is the mother of all problems in the Northeast. That's how the Prime Minister has outlined. He talked about historically the insurgencies that have happened in the Northeast and how the Congress was in power during those times. Nehru and Indira Gandhi's governments mistreated the Northeast, leading to insurgencies in almost all of the Northeastern states, much through the 50s, 60s and 70s. And that the no trust motion has only helped the rise of the NDA. And quite sarcastically, he also said that the opposition could well bring in a no confidence motion in 2028 in his third term to try and dislodge him. We will break all election records in 2024. The Prime Minister has said that he will come back with a bigger majority, a bigger mandate in 2024 than what was seen in 2014 or in 2019. And that in that third term, he's also made this promise that India will become, by the end of that third term, the third largest economy in the world. So a gamut of attacks from the Prime Minister, including, of course, that parting shot where he said the opposition is free to bring in a no confidence motion even in 2028. All right, let me now go across and get you a sense of where we are as far as this no confidence, which has now been defeated. There were speeches and there were speeches, but finally, what has come of it? Let me now go across to a special panel of members of Parliament who are joining us. Sonal Mansingh is Rajya Sabha Member of Parliament. She'll be joining us in a moment. J.B. Mathur is Rajya Sabha Member of Parliament of the Congress Party. Kanimuri Somu is Rajya Sabha Member of Parliament of the DMK. Sushmita Dev, Member of Parliament of the TMC. Sanju Verma, National Spokesperson of the BJP, is joining us. And Bikash Ranjan Bhattacharya is a Member of Parliament of the CPIM. J.B. Mathur, the whole point of this no confidence motion was to force the Prime Minister to speak about Manipur, but just when he started speaking about Manipur, you staged a walkout. So the people are asking, what was the point then of moving this no confidence? Because the numbers were clearly on the NDA side.
That our Prime Minister is obsessed with whataboutism. See, it's not about walking out immediately once he started. It's about when for 100 days he was missing. After 100 days, he comes to the Parliament. And once he started speaking, this was a golden opportunity for the Prime Minister to showcase before the Manipur citizens and also India on what the steps taken by him, the government, the central government, the state government, what are the remedial measures, what went wrong, what is the course of action. But there's absolutely nothing about Manipur. For a 2-hour speech in 2 minutes is all that Prime Minister said about Manipur's current situation. And other than the normal cliche terms and the usages, be it starting from A.O. Hume to Nehru to Indira Gandhi to Sardar Patel being sidelined, that typical Modi speech, and only addition is more than half of the time was spent on attacking India alive. See, ideally what should have happened? Prime Minister should have apologized to the nation for not going to Manipur in the first place. Secondly,
But ma'am, two points stand out. Ma'am, 2 points stand out. Number one, this was a no confidence motion, and in a no confidence motion, the opposition is expected to attack the government on all issues, not just one issue. And two, when the opposition leaders also spoke, ma'am, you spoke on a whole gamut of issues, not just confined to Manipur. So I don't think saying that just sticking to Manipur would have been accurate, because opposition leaders did not stick just to Manipur. Okay, I don't think she can hear me. Let me go across to Sonal Mansingh if she's joined us. Sonal Mansingh, do you believe? Okay, we haven't got her yet. Sanju Verma, was the Prime Minister, and this is what the opposition is saying, he spoke for 120 plus minutes. He only came to Manipur post 90 minutes. So for an hour and a half, he was laying out on the table in one part the achievements of his government, and more than that, he spent an awful lot of time attacking the Congress, attacking the opposition, but they are not the ones who are governing. It's you who are governing and have been for the last 9 years.
You know, Zaka, first and foremost, I think this entire charade called the no confidence motion brought in by the opposition, moved by Gaurav Gogoi, is such a waste of taxpayer funds. They knew that the no confidence motion would leave them with egg on their faces, but yet they chose to waste precious time of the taxpayers and precious funds on this entire futile exercise. But be that as it may, I think let's not forget that Rahul Gandhi, the leader of the largest opposition party at the forefront of the alliance called I.N.D.I.A, Rahul Gandhi was there, and barely so. Point number two, I want to say that, the opposition has never failed to disappoint. This entire exercise of shoot and scoot is what the opposition's politics has been all about right from 2014 till now. And this was evident that the moment the Prime Minister started speaking, or he was about to speak on Manipur, they decided to stage a walkout, showcasing, Zaka, that Manipur was never really what they wanted a discussion on. Manipur to sirf bahana tha, Prime Minister Modi inka nishana tha. And the third and most important point, when Om Birla, the Speaker and the Chair of the House, asked Gaurav Gogoi whether he wanted to reply, he was nowhere to be seen. I mean, how serious is the opposition? That can be seen from the fact that there was such a callous and flippant attitude where the person who moved the no confidence motion to start with did not even deem it fit to give a reply.
Let me go to Sushmita Dev of the TMC, because, while the Prime Minister just touched upon Manipur, he did talk quite in detail about the Northeast, and specifically, he did remind the people of the country the kinds of problems that the Northeast had faced, insurgencies in almost all the states. You come from Assam, you've seen this firsthand as well. How do you react to the Prime Minister's charge that all the problems of the Northeast, the fount of it or the foundation of it, has come from the Congress Party's rule of the Northeast? Has he blunted your attack on his government vis-a-vis Manipur? Sushmita Dev.
You see, it is crystal clear from Prime Minister Modi's speech in the Parliament that Manipur was not his priority. He spoke for, I think, 1 hour, 1.5 hours, and there was absolutely no mention of Manipur. Number two, the very idea behind this no confidence was to hear the Prime Minister on the problem of the Manipur as of the last 3 months. But what unfolded in the Prime Minister's speech is what happened in 1961, what happened in 1962, and like a budget speech where he was talking about his achievements. I want your viewers to know one thing, that when we went to Manipur, the people of Manipur were saying that why is the Prime Minister silent on this entire issue? But I think what he did is a great disservice to the people of Manipur, and he used this as a campaigning platform rather than address a very critical issue like Manipur, which is actually in a state of civil unrest where there's still firing going on and two groups are almost at war. I think he totally undermined that situation and proved once again that Manipur is not his priority.
So, Sonal Mansingh, how do you respond to that charge coming in from the TMC and the Congress and the Opposition India Alliance that this was not so much a speech to give an assessment of what is going on in Manipur and what the failures and the omissions and commissions have been, that this was more a campaign speech, this was more a stump speech, this was more the Prime Minister laying out the case for why the people of India should elect him for a third term? Sonal Mansingh.
Yeah. First of all, one can't dictate to Prime Minister what he should say and when he should say it in his speech. This was his reply to the no confidence motion in his government. He was replying to charges laid up, piled up yesterday or this morning by Rahul Gandhi yesterday, I think, yes, and a few other people. So when he was speaking about Manipur, he was very, very serious. But then he also said that when opposition thrusts so many apashabdas on me, they don't have the patience to listen to me. They just walk out. That is their great weapon. So if they had heard him out on the floor of the House, they would have heard how from point zero the whole case has been built up in the Northeast, and now they are of course talking only about Manipur, but he also talked about Mizoram, he also talked about Nagaland, he also talked about Tripura, he also talked about Assam, and this is how I think historically, if we look at a problem, we begin to understand the whole picture. It is Manipur, 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 Manipur. It's not just that. Number two, that the Home Minister had given a whole spiel about how 3 days, day and night he was there, the Minister of State for Home was there for 3 weeks. What all has happened since then?
Okay.
They were not willing to listen to that. I am just saying, Zaka, that opposition is opposition. But it should not go to the extent of scolding the Prime Minister at every turn, nook and corner, for every word. I think it was a brilliant speech, I say it without any hesitation.
Okay.
Because Avishwas ka prastav, no confidence in his government, is on several things that they don't know how to run the country. The economy is down, everything is bad about the country. So he had to also close that. And then he came to Manipur and he gave the entire picture. The canvas was painted absolutely clear, crystal clear. And he said one very important thing, that Bharat tere tukde honge, inshallah, inshallah. People who accuse him today and his government have gone and stood with these people. They say we will crush the chicken's neck, we will cut out the Northeast. All such things we've been hearing, and they've been taking it in. So today he said, Acha hai, however much they pile up abuses on us, those very things seem to begin to prosper.
Okay.
And I'm sure that under the leadership of Modi government, Manipur problem will be solved.
Let me go across now to Kanimuri Somu and Bikash Ranjan of the CPIM. Kanimuri Somu, in fact, with reference to Tamil Nadu, the Prime Minister said two things. One, he asked this whole issue of Kache TV. You're talking about, India being divided and Manipur being divided and so on and so forth. But who is it that gifted Kache Tivu away to Sri Lanka? He also specifically talked about, you guys have named yourselves the India Alliance, but he said that there was a DMK minister who up until just a couple of days ago said that Tamil Nadu has never been a part of India. They don't consider themselves to be part of India. How then can you call yourselves the India Alliance?
No, what the second point, what you're saying, some minister referring to that we are not India, I solely say that it has not been said any of the ministers. He has not mentioned any of them. That's a big acquisition which has been made by him. There is no statement from any of our ministers which I can really vouch on to it, because before sitting for this, I really cross-check after hearing out to the Prime Minister, was it something really mentioned? I went back and I cross-checked to the whole country and the nation. I'm just telling you, it's nothing like that has been discussed by any of the state ministers who are currently sitting, or the ex-ministers or anyone else. That I can vouch to you. Now, regarding the other things which you had asked me, the Kachativu, which was the discussion, what have they been doing for the last 9 years in the center? Why? They could have also done it. Why do they want to go back and talk to you about the Nehru family, which has ruled long back? You say Modi claims that they have given the people have the confidence on me. That's the reason they have given me twice, and they'll give it to me one more time. What have you been doing? Why do you want to keep on blaming of what has happened? What have you done to the nation, sir? 3 months, Manipur is burning, and today you say Manipur is close to your heart. If it had been really to the Prime Minister's heart, he would have fled the very day the video had come out. Instead of that, he has not come to the Parliament for the last 16th day of sitting today, and tomorrow is going to be the 17th last day of the sitting. To make him come to the Parliament, or rather whatever he calls Temple of Democracy, which he really always mentions as the Parliament. He doesn't want to come to the temple which he believes in. Why? So bring him to the Temple of Democracy. We need to bring in a no confidence motion, setting aside all the bill debates and everything. We have to concentrate. We have to keep a tambulam for him to come to the
But
Parliament.
ma'am, isn't it ironic that you wanted to bring him to Parliament?
Rahul Gandhi was not there, and the person who brought the no confidence motion was not there. According to the no confidence motion, once the discussion starts, it is the duty of the Prime Ministers to be in the Parliament to listen to all the debates. They have been Prime Ministers in the previous history. Whenever a no confidence motion discussion starts, how many ever days it goes, how many ever hours it goes, the Prime Minister would be very much present there to hear all the proceedings and all the discussions which is happening. He would take it up and he has to answer. It is a due responsibility of the Prime Minister.
Let me go to Bikash Ranjan Bhattacharya. One of the, again, lines of attack that the Prime Minister took is, how can you have parties in this India alliance that are opposed to each other in states? And he specifically took the example of the CPM and the TMC, the CPM and the Congress in Kerala. I mean, up until some time ago, the Congress was accusing the CPM in Bengal of killing their people. Same was the accusation between the LDF and the UDF in Kerala. And today, you are the India Alliance. Will the people of India not see through this contradiction?
You see, this is the greatest failure of the Prime Minister, that he is expert in diverting the issues. The whole crux of the issue of no confidence motion was Prime Minister's silence about the Manipur situation. The Manipur situation has shown the greatest contribution of Modi, that the BJP government run state police lodged an FIR against the central police agencies. What worse situation could be than this? What's the answer of the Home Minister, the Prime Minister? That the BJP run state police lodges complaint against the central police forces. This is the situation. Did the Prime Minister have anything to say on this? Prime Minister knew that he has nothing to say. The BJP's hatred campaign on religious line, BJP's hatred campaign on the issue of infiltration has divided Manipur.
No, but
I have my personal
Mr. Bhattacharya, please answer the question.
Please don't interrupt. Don't interrupt.
Please answer my question also. My request to you.
Don't interrupt.
Please answer my question.
I am answering in my own way. I am answering in my own way. I have not to answer to your tune. The question is that the no confidence motion was on the basically issue of Manipur, and the Manipur situation is so grave that proves how the government of India and BJP policies have driven the country horizontally into fronts.
No, you're still not answering my question,
is a
sir.
very
I'm really sorry. I'm going to try and ask you again. How do you explain the contradictions within your alliance? That's the question he has asked.
There is no issue for that the parties will decide when the situation comes. This is not the headache of the Prime Minister.
Okay.
The Prime Minister's headache is to run the country as per the constitutional norms. He should not be worried about what the opposition is doing.
Okay, Sanju Verma, by saying that, so many bad things happen in the last 60 years, you are not giving an account of what your government's failings are.
That's not an issue.
Yeah. No, let me ask Sanju Verma that. And B, the Prime Minister spent more time attacking the opposition, attacking the India Alliance, attacking the Congress Party, than talking about what his government has done for Manipur. Sanju Verma.
Thank you, Zaka. I'm so glad that the CPM, leader and earlier the DMK leader, they raised concerns about whether any work has been done by the Modi government in Manipur and in the Northeast or not. And I'm very happy to tell you that apart from what the Prime Minister mentioned about, National Sports University coming up, we saw, an AIMS come up in Assam, thanks to the efforts of the Modi government, an Institute of Mass Communications coming up, the Vande Bharat Express running through Assam, Sikkim got its first full-fledged airport in 2018 after 70 long years. Let no one forget that. Apart from all this, look at the attitudinal shift, and I think that is what the Prime Minister wanted to focus on. There was a time when, Netaji Bose's statue was desecrated in Manipur. There was a time when singing Jana Gana Mana or Vande Mataram was not considered kosher in Manipur. There was a time when Hindus in Manipur could not visit temples beyond 4 p.m. because they were shut down. There was a time when putting Mahatma Gandhi's portrait in the Manipur assembly was not considered kosher. But all that is a thing of the past. And the attitudinal shift in terms of taking pride in the legacy of a Mahatma Gandhi or a Bose or the sacrifices made by our freedom fighters. Forget even this. I will just end by saying one thing. For long, we have always said that the Northeast suffered from the tyranny of distance because infrastructure was always the bane of the Northeast. And very quickly, Zaka, in 20 seconds, I'll tell you that the two biggest achievements of the Modi government is the Bogibeel Bridge, which started way back in April 2002 when Atal Bihari Vajpayee was the Prime Minister. Under 10 years of the Congress-led UPA from 2004 to 2014, the Congress was snoozing on it. We finished the Bogibeel Bridge, the second largest rail-cum-road bridge in Asia, with a serviceable period of 120 years in December 2018.
So let me ask Sushmita Dev. So the opposition continues to insist that the government did not give satisfactory answers on Manipur. Yesterday, the Home Minister had a detailed sort of reply in the no confidence debate, and he gave a full-fledged explanation of what was going on in Manipur, what he has done, what the central government has done, what the state government has done. He also gave an affirmation to the Chief Minister saying, the Chief Secretary has been changed, the DGP has been changed, and there's no need to change the Chief Minister right now. And whatever the steps are that the government has taken to try and re-establish peace in the state. If the idea of the opposition was to still push for that no trust vote because you believe that that was the only way to get the Prime Minister to speak, then what was the point of walking out just when the Prime Minister started speaking about Manipur, the very issue you wanted him to speak on?
See, first of all, let me just pick on one or two things that you said the Honorable Home Minister of India said in the Parliament. He claims that he's doing his best. Have you ever heard of two agencies, law enforcement agencies, filing a case against each other? How has the state of Manipur even gotten there if he's monitoring it on a daily basis? He's talking about schools going back to normal and they are doing Zoom classes. There is no internet in Manipur. Okay, he's talking about relief camps, saying there's sufficient food and there is everything happening there. I have gone and seen with my own eyes how hundreds of people have been forced to live together in a dormitory-like situation without fans and food and sufficient toilets. And why should they carry on staying in relief camps for over 3 months? It only tells you that things are not improving despite all the things the Honorable Home Minister of India has enlisted in his speech yesterday. And last but not the least, if the Home Minister of the country speaks, it doesn't mean Prime Minister can't speak on it. Today, the Prime Minister spoke about the economy. Today, the Prime Minister talked on railway infrastructure. He talked on toilets. He talked on gas. All his other ministers spoke. Then why did he have to speak on all this? So you can't say heads is also mine and tails is also mine. The question is very simple, that this kind of crisis, constitutional crisis in a state, has not happened in India for many decades. And while Mr. Modi is at the helm of affairs, it has happened. He should have addressed this straight on. He should have addressed this straight
Sonal
on.
Mansingh, again, comes back to what the opposition is saying, that for 70 plus days the Prime Minister did not speak. Then when the video came out, he was forced to speak. He gave a soundbite outside Parliament on the first day of the session, when the session began. And even today in his speech, he spoke for 130 odd minutes. It was only after 90 minutes that he spoke on Manipur, and that too very briefly. Much of his speech was either a list of achievements that his government has achieved, or it was simply a frontal attack on the opposition. Has he then not satisfied the purpose of this no confidence, and that was to tell the people of Manipur, to tell the people of this nation what his government has done to assuage the concerns of Manipur?
If one listens to his speech very carefully, then he has etched out all the steps taken by the government in Manipur. Also, I think on your channel itself, about 2 days ago maybe, I heard the anchor reading out the entire list from 1993 or 91 onwards, how many horrible things have happened in Manipur, and the then Prime Ministers or Home Minister never even bothered to go there, leave alone any parliamentary delegation, leave alone a discussion in the Parliament. This is not to say that it was bad, but today we are at the cusp of time, just before the election. The entire thing, as we know, emanated also that it was simmering. There were so many issues that were simmering. But when the High Court passed one judgment, that was really the tinderbox was, set ablaze. Yes. And I think we need to go into the root cause. There were drug problems, there are the borders, so many countries' borders, and not friendly countries at all. I think, just saying Manipur and this happened, we need to learn to look at with a perspective. It's not this, it's this and that. And the government is dealing with it, and Jharkhand, it is sub judice. It is sub judice. Let the information come out. Let the report come out. But they are at it. They are at it. They are not sitting quietly.
So, Mr. Bikash Ranjan Bhattacharya, for the last 20 days, the opposition was holding up Parliament on this singular demand that the Prime Minister come to the House and speak on Manipur. Now that debate is over, the session will get over tomorrow. Has the opposition scored a self-goal by insisting for the last 20 days that he speak on Manipur? And when he spoke, A, you were not present, you walked out. And B, more importantly, you compare his speech to Rahul Gandhi's speech or any leader of the opposition, it seems like he's presented a case to the people of India for 2024 as to why they should re-elect him as opposed to electing the India Alliance. Was it a mistake to squarely focus for the last 20 days of Parliament that he come to the House and speak? And when he did, as he said, he hit the ball out of the park. He hit it for a sixer. You've thrown a no ball at him and he got a free hit.
That's your perception, totally wrong perception. On the contrary, Prime Minister's speech deflected that he is not at all concerned with the plight of the Manipuri people. The Supreme Court has held that the state machinery and the central machinery has failed. Therefore, the Supreme Court appointed a special committee. The Prime Minister didn't have anything to say answer to this. On the contrary, his speech showed that at the cost of the one of the province's blood, he wants to win an election. This really has exposed the menace of the Prime Minister and the BJP's game plan. The people have seen that, and that's the great success on the part of the opposition, forcing the Prime Minister to speak on the Manipur. And that's the reason Prime Minister was shying away from the issues and talking all on election result, but not on the plight of the common man of the Manipur.
Okay. I'll give the final word, Jebi Mathur, and then, of course, Kanimuri. Jebi Mathur, you know, one thing that stood out, and this was for Mr. Rahul Gandhi, your leader, his comeback moment. He was disqualified. He was out of parliament for the last 4 months. And the speech that he made compared to the speech that the Prime Minister made, and he mentioned this in today's speech as well, it seems like the opposition did not come well enough prepared. I mean, it seemed like an unprepared, almost an uncooked kind of a speech by Mr. Gandhi compared to what the Prime Minister... I mean, you can accuse the Prime Minister of making a rhetorical speech, election speech, 2024 speech, not talking about Manipur, but you cannot accuse him of coming to the House with an unprepared speech or a half-baked speech. You cannot. Jebi Mathur.
Firstly, Rahul Gandhi visited Manipur. Rahul Gandhi visited Manipur and saw the pain by himself and understood the pain by himself, and he spoke from the heart of the pain of the situation in Manipur, and he spoke for more than 15 minutes, not like the 2-minute speech by the Prime Minister. And mostly when he was trying to emphasize on the situation of Manipur, the camera system in the Lok Sabha was more interested to show other things. But in any case, we have no doubt, and the people of India also do not have any doubt, that Rahul Gandhi has gone there, and also Rahul Gandhi has spoken in the parliament, expressed the pain of Manipur people, and also categorically attacked the government for the inefficient way of functioning and handling of things. Okay. Now, if you say that the speech was ill prepared, how you can say it is ill prepared when the most important things said in the speeches are all expunged by the Lok Sabha? Why are they so scared of the speech given by Rahul Gandhi that they had to expunge it? Rahul Gandhi was very clear in explaining about the Manipur situation, and also about the BJP representative, which she said, I want to ask her how she can say that about sports university when women are being gang raped there, when women are being paraded naked there. How, as a woman, doesn't she have any feelings?
Sanjeev Verma, respond to that. And if you thought that Rahul Gandhi's speech was half-baked and unprepared and less impactful, why are you expunging parts of his speech? Sanjeev Verma.
You know, let me just remind the Congress spokesperson, and very quickly at that, Monsoon Singh was the Rajya Sabha MP from Assam from 1991 till 2019 for 28 long years. He did not visit Assam even 5 times. Your Rahul Gandhi's Bharat Jodo Yatra ended on 30th January 2023. There were elections in Tripura on 16th February 2023. Did Rahul Gandhi visit Tripura? No. There were elections in Nagaland and Meghalaya on 27th February. Did Rahul Gandhi visit Nagaland? The answer is no. The fact is that you have been reduced to 5 seats in Manipur in the assembly elections that were held in 2022. The BJP romped home to victory in Manipur with a grand 32 seats out of a total of 6060 seats. This is about politics because you've lost your relevance. You're not in power in any state in the Northeast, whereas the BJP is in power either on a standalone basis or with its allies in all the 8 northeastern states, and that must hurt you. And you should be hurt because you have been shown the door by the people of the Northeast.
Okay, we'll have to leave it at that. We'll see how this plays out. Like I said at the top of the show, this was less about the pressing issue or the issue at hand, which was the question of Manipur. This was more setting the template for 2024, because this is a no-confidence motion on the last 5 years or 4.5 years of the Modi government. The opposition was well within its right to have questioned his government's record on all issues, not just on the issue of Manipur. And he was well within his right to give a response, not just on the issue of Manipur, but on all issues, the track record of his government, as it were. As we close out Brass Tacks, let's play you some excerpts from some of the best moments, some of the best highlights of the Prime Minister's speech today, where he stuck it to the opposition and, more importantly, framed a narrative for the people of India, the electorate of India, that this is what he believes the fight for 2024 will be. Which side will India choose? We'll wait and see. We'll be here and so will you. But the best moments from the Prime Minister's speech. Thanks for tuning in.
उनके लिए तो सबसे प्रिय नारा क्या है? मोदी तेरी कब्र खुदेगी। मोदी तेरी कब्र खुदेगी। मोदी तेरी कब्र खुदेगी। ये इनकी पसंदीदा नारा है, लेकिन मेरे लिए इनकी ये गालियां, ये अपशब्द, ये अलोकतांत्रिक भाषा, मैं उसका भी टॉनिक बना देता हूं। विपक्ष के लोगों को एक सीक्रेट वरदान मिला हुआ है। हाँ, सीक्रेट वरदान मिला हुआ है जी। और वरदान ये कि ये लोग जिसका बुरा चाहेंगे उसका भलाई ही होगा। हमारे डिफेंस के हेलीकॉप्टर बनाने वाली सरकारी कंपनी HAL, ये HAL को लेकर के कितनी भली बुरी बातें इन्होंने करी थी। क्या कुछ नहीं कहा गया था HAL के लिए, और इसका दुनिया पे बहुत नुकसान करने वाली भाषा का प्रयोग किया गया था। और HAL तबाह हो गया है, HAL खत्म हो गया है, भारत की डिफेंस इंडस्ट्री खत्म हो चुकी है। ऐसा न जाने क्या क्या कहा गया था HAL के लिए। आज HAL सफलता की नई बुलंदियों को छू रहा है। HAL ने अपना हाईएस्ट एवर हाईएस्ट रेवेन्यू रजिस्टर किया है। इनके जी भर करके गंभीर आरोप के बावजूद भी वहां के कामदारों को, वहां के कर्मचारियों को उकसाने की भरपूर कोशिश के बावजूद भी आज HAL देश की आन बान शान बन के उठ रहा है। कुछ ही दिन पहले बेंगलुरु में आपने मिलजुल कर करीब 1.5-2 दशक पुराने UPA का क्रियाकर्म किया है, उसका अंतिम संस्कार किया है। लोकतांत्रिक व्यवहार के मुताबिक मुझे तभी आपको सहानुभूति जरूर व्यक्त करनी चाहिए थी, संवेदना व्यक्त करनी चाहिए थी, लेकिन देरी में मेरा कसूर नहीं है। देरी में मेरा कसूर नहीं है, क्योंकि आप खुद ही एक और UPA का क्रियाकर्म कर रहे थे और दूसरी ओर जश्न भी मना रहे थे। और जश्न भी किस बात का? खंडहर पर नया प्लास्टर लगाने का। आप जश्न मना रहे थे खंडहर पर नया प्लास्टर लगाने का। आप जश्न मना रहे थे फेल मशीन पर नया पेंट लगाने का। दशकों पुरानी खटारा गाड़ी को इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल दिखाने के लिए आपने इतना बड़ा मजमा लगाया था। इस बार अधीर बाबू को क्या हाल हो गया? उनकी पार्टी ने उन्हें बोलने का मौका नहीं दिया। ये तो कल अमित भाई ने बहुत जिम्मेवारी के साथ कहा कि भाई अच्छा नहीं लग रहा है, और आपकी उदारता थी कि उनका समय समाप्त हो गया था तो भी आपने उनको आज मौका दिया। लेकिन गुड़ का गोबर कैसे करना उसमें ये माहिर है। मैं नहीं जानता हूं कि आखिर आपकी मजबूरी क्या है। क्यों अधीर बाबू को दरकिनारे कर दिया गया? पता नहीं कलकत्ता से कोई फोन आया हो। और कांग्रेस बार बार उनका अपमान करती है। कभी चुनावों के नाम पर उन्हें अस्थायी रूप से फ्लोर लीडर से हटा देते हैं। बिट्टू जी, हम अधीर बाबू के प्रति अपनी पूरी संवेदना व्यक्त करते हैं। कल यहां दिल से बात करने की बात भी कही गई थी। उनके दिमाग के हाल को तो देश लंबे समय से जानता है, लेकिन अब उनके दिल का भी पता चल गया। और अध्यक्ष जी, इनका मोदी प्रेम तो इतना जबरदस्त है जी, 24 घंटे सपने में भी उनको मोदी आता है। मोदी अगर भाषण करते समय बीच में पानी पिए तो ये कहते हैं, अगर पानी भी पिया तो ये सीना तान के कहते, देखिए मोदी को पानी पिला दिया। अगर मैं गर्मी में कड़ी धूप में भी जनता जनार्दन के दर्शन के लिए चल पड़ता हूं, कभी पसीना पोंछता हूं तो कहते हैं, देखिए मोदी को पसीना ला दिया। देखिए इनका जीने का सहारा देखिए। आदरणीय अध्यक्ष जी, मैं कांग्रेस की मुसीबत समझता हूं। बरसों से एक ही फेल्ड प्रोडक्ट उसको बार बार लॉन्च करते हैं। हर बार लॉन्चिंग फेल हो जाती है। आज के हमारे प्रोफेशनल्स को खुले आसमान में उड़ने के लिए हौसला दिया है, अवसर दिया है। हमने दुनिया में भारत की बिगड़ी हुई साख उसको भी संभाला है और उसे फिर एक बार नई ऊंचाइयों पर ले गए हैं। अभी भी कुछ लोग कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि दुनिया में हमारी साख को दाग लग जाए, लेकिन दुनिया अब देश को जान चुकी है। दुनिया के भविष्य में भारत किस प्रकार से योगदान दे सकता है, ये विश्व का विश्वास बढ़ता चला जा रहा है। आज भारत की कोई भी अच्छी बात ये सुन नहीं सकते। यही उनकी अवस्था है। आज गरीब के दिल में अपने सपने पूरा करने का भरोसा पैदा हुआ है। आज देश में गरीबी तेजी से घट रही है। नीति आयोग के रिपोर्ट के अनुसार पिछले 5 साल में 13.5 करोड़ लोग गरीबी से बाहर आए हैं। मैं जरा आज सदन को याद दिलाना चाहता हूं, पाकिस्तान सीमा पर हमले करता था। हमारे यहां आए दिन आतंकवादी भेजा जाता था और उसके बाद पाकिस्तान हाथ ऊपर करके मुकर जाता था, भाग जाता था, बोले हमारी तो कोई जिम्मेवारी नहीं है, कोई जिम्मा लेने को तैयार नहीं होता था। और इनका पाकिस्तान से ऐसा प्रेम था कि वो तुरंत पाकिस्तान की बातों पर विश्वास कर लेते थे। पाकिस्तान कहता था कि आतंकी हमले होते रहेंगे और बातचीत भी होती रहेगी। इन्हें यहां तक कहते हुए पाकिस्तान कह रहा है तो सही कहता होगा, ये इनकी सोच रही है। कश्मीर आतंकवाद की आग में दिन रात सुलग रहा था। जलता था, लेकिन कांग्रेस सरकार का काम कश्मीर के आम नागरिकों पर विश्वास नहीं था। वे विश्वास करते थे हुर्रियत पर, वे विश्वास करते थे अलगवादियों के पर, वे विश्वास उन लोगों पर करते थे जो पाकिस्तान का झंडा लेकर के चलते थे। भारत ने आतंकवाद पर सर्जिकल स्ट्राइक किया, भारत ने एयर स्ट्राइक किया। इनको भारत की सेना पर भरोसा नहीं था, उनको दुश्मन के दावों पर भरोसा था। ये इनकी प्रवृत्ति थी। कल वैसे विस्तार से अमित भाई ने बताया है। मणिपुर में अदालत का एक फैसला आया। अब अदालतों में क्या हो रहा है वो हम जानते हैं। अब उसके पक्ष विपक्ष में जो परिस्थितियां बनी, हिंसा का दौर शुरू हो गया और उसमें बहुत परिवारों को मुश्किल हुई। अनेकों ने अपने स्वजन भी खोए। महिलाओं के साथ गंभीर अपराध हुआ और ये अपराध अक्षम्य है और दोषियों को कड़ी से कड़ी सजा दिलवाने के लिए केंद्र सरकार, राज्य सरकार मिलकर के भरपूर प्रयास कर रही है। और मैं देश के सभी नागरिकों को आश्वस्त करना चाहता हूं कि जिस प्रकार से प्रयास चल रहे हैं, निकट भविष्य में शांति का सूरज जरूर उगेगा। मणिपुर फिर एक बार नए आत्मविश्वास के साथ आगे बढ़ेगा। हमने कहा था अकेले मणिपुर के लिए आओ चर्चा करो। गृह मंत्री जी ने चिट्ठी लिख करके कहा था, उनके विभाग से जुड़ा विषय था, लेकिन साहस नहीं था, इरादा नहीं था और पेट में पाप था, दर्द पेट में हो रहा था और फोड़ रहे थे सर। इसका ये परिणाम था। आदरणीय अध्यक्ष जी, मणिपुर की स्थिति पर देश के गृह मंत्री श्रीमान अमित शाह ने कल 2 घंटे तक विस्तार से और बड़े धैर्य से, रत्ती भर भी राजनीति के बिना सारे विषय को विस्तार से समझाया, सरकार की और देश की चिंता को प्रकट किया और उसमें देश की जनता को जागरूक करने का भी प्रयास था। उसमें इस पूरे सदन की तरफ से एक विश्वास का संदेश मणिपुर को पहुंचाने का इरादा था। उसमें जन सामान्य को शिक्षित करने का भी प्रयास था। एक नेक ईमानदारी से देश की भलाई के लिए और मणिपुर की समस्या के लिए रास्ते खोजना एक प्रयास था, लेकिन सिवाय राजनीति कुछ करना नहीं है। इसलिए इन्होंने यही खेल किए, यही स्थिति किया। हर व्यवस्था उग्रवादी संगठनों की मर्जी से चलती थी, वो कहे वो होता था। और उस समय सरकार की स्थिति मणिपुर में किसकी सरकार थी?
Presented by
2008 से लेकर 2014 तक सिर्फ 80 लॉन्च किए हैं यूपीए, सिर्फ 80। इस देश में तब मान लीजिए 600 से ज्यादा डिस्ट्रिक्ट रहते थे, अभी तो 700 से ज्यादा हो गए। 600 में से सिर्फ 80 तक पहुंचे, 8 से लेकर 14 तक, 2008 से 14 तक। सो लॉन्च करने में खुशी है मगर इंप्लीमेंट करने में नहीं। मगर हमारे नीयत अलग है, इंप्लीमेंटेशन के ओर है। लोग वेट करते रहे और वेट करते रह गए कि हमारे डिस्ट्रिक्ट में खुलेगा जन औषधि केंद्र और हम सस्ते दवाई खरीद पाएंगे, मगर नहीं हुआ उनके कार्यकाल में। पीएम मोदी himself felt the pain of how high prices of drugs are affecting normal middle class and poor family. As a result, he took direct interest in it and made sure Jan Aushadhi Kendra are implemented and opened in every district. If you see the progress between 2014, every year the numbers increased. In 1 year, the number of stores tripled from 80 to 279, 15-16 mein. And then it became 1080 in 16-17. The target of opening 3000 Kendras was achieved in December 2017. Sir, now साल में अभी 9,484 जन औषधि केंद्र देश भर में है. And these Jan Aushadhi Kendras have nearly 50 to 80% cheaper medicine, which benefits the middle class, which benefits the poor, and nearly 1,800 drugs are available there. 285 surgical equipments are also available सस्ते में. इसीलिए हम ध्यान रखना चाहिए कि लॉन्चिंग में मजा नहीं है, एक्चुअली एग्जीक्यूट करके दिखाओ, उसमें जनता का हित है. सर, क्योंकि हम हेल्थ के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं, मेडिकल कॉलेजेस 700 से लेकर 1341 हो गया है अभी. 2014 में 700 ही थे, आज 1341 मेडिकल कॉलेजेस. मेडिकल सीट्स जिससे आपको डॉक्टर्स जरूरत है देश में, उस समय 2014 में 82,466 सीट था. आज 1,52,129 सीट्स अवेलेबल है. सर, 69,000 सीट्स नया ऐड हुआ है. सर, एम्स के बारे में बहुत चर्चा होती है इस सदन में. 2014 में 15 एम्स थे, आज 23 एम्स है इस देश में. बार बार बोलते हैं जन औषधि केंद्र भी हमारा प्रोग्राम है, हम ही लॉन्च किए हैं. हाँ, लॉन्च किए हैं जरूर, हवा में रह गए हैं, जमीन पे लोगों के पास नहीं आया वो जन औषधि केंद्र. मैं ये बात बोलना चाह रही हूं कि आखिर हम लोग ग्रास रूट्स और ग्राउंड से जुड़े हुए लोग हैं, इसीलिए जन औषधि केंद्र का प्रोग्रेस आपके सामने मैं रखना चाहती हूं. सर, ऑब्जेक्टिव ऑफ जन औषधि केंद्र was to make sure that at least one Jan Aushadhi Kendra or store will be in each district. जब यूपीए ने लॉन्च किया उस समय उनके मकसद ये था कि जन औषधि केंद्र हर डिस्ट्रिक्ट में कम से कम एक हो. मगर 2008 से लेकर 2014 तक सिर्फ 80 लॉन्च किए हैं यूपीए, सिर्फ 80. इस देश में तब मान लीजिए 600 से ज्यादा डिस्ट्रिक्ट रहते थे, अभी तो 700 से ज्यादा हो गए. 600 में से सिर्फ 80 तक पहुंचे, 8 से लेकर 14 तक, 2008 से 14 तक. सो लॉन्च करने में खुशी है मगर इंप्लीमेंट करने में नहीं. मगर हमारे नीयत अलग है, इंप्लीमेंटेशन के ओर है. लोग वेट करते रहे और वेट करते रह गए कि हमारे डिस्ट्रिक्ट में खुलेगा जन औषधि केंद्र और हम सस्ते दवाई खरीद पाएंगे, मगर नहीं हुआ उनके कार्यकाल में. PM Modi himself felt the pain of how high prices of drugs are affecting normal middle class and poor family. As a result, he took direct interest in it and made sure Jan Aushadhi Kendra are implemented and opened in every district. If you see the progress between 2014, every year the numbers increased. In 1 year, the number of stores tripled from 80 to 279, 15-16 में. And then it became 1080 in 16-17.
सिर्फ नाम का सहारा है, जिन्हें सिर्फ नाम का सहारा है उन्हीं के लिए कहा गया है दूर युद्ध से भागते, दूर युद्ध से भागते नाम रखा रणधीर, दूर युद्ध से भागते नाम रखा रणधीर. भाग्य चंद की आज तक सोई है तकदीर। भाग्य चंद की आज तक सोई है तकदीर। आदरणीय अध्यक्ष जी, इनकी मुसीबत ऐसी है कि खुद को जिंदा रखने के लिए इनको एनडीए का ही सहारा लेना पड़ा है। खुद को जिंदा रखने के लिए इन्हें
Hello, Namaskar. This is First Post and you're watching Vantage with me, Palki Sharma. Our lead story tonight is about food. Prices continue to rise the world over. In India, the government is dipping into its reserves to stabilize prices. It has restricted the exports of rice, wheat and sugar over the past few months. It may remove or reduce tax on imports too. Now, these are significant steps. They point to the global shortage because of conflict and supply disruptions. Some friendly countries are reaching out to New Delhi to make exceptions for them. Tonight, we'll discuss how India can balance its national interest with its international responsibility as a major supplier of food. Meanwhile, in New Delhi, the government has won a no-confidence vote. Prime Minister Modi addressed the parliament in a speech that lasted more than 2 hours. We'll bring you the highlights. In Pakistan, a leaked document has put the spotlight on America's role in Imran Khan's ouster. In North Korea, Kim Jong-un has fired his top general and asked his army to prepare for war. In Washington, Joe Biden has passed an executive order to ban investments in China's technology sector. In Germany, there's a debate on the hair and makeup bill of their chancellor. It's way too high. And a question that bothers all